You don't ruin your life in one big decision. You do it slowly, quietly, in patterns so small you barely notice them. You delay things that matter. You avoid opportunities you once wanted. You overthink simple decisions until they feel impossible. And then you tell yourself a story that you're just lazy or inconsistent or not disciplined enough. But what if none of that is true? What if the real problem is not your effort, but your programming? Because self-sabotage is not random. It's not accidental. It's a pattern. And patterns don't come from nowhere. They're built over time, shaped by experiences you've already forgotten, but your mind hasn't. According to Carl Jung, a large part of your behavior is controlled by the unconscious mind, the part of you that operates in the background, silently influencing your actions without asking for permission. And if you don't understand it, it will control your life while you think you're in control. And this is where things get uncomfortable, because it means a part of you is working against you, not because it hates you, but because it thinks it's protecting you. Your brain is not designed to make you successful. It's designed to keep you safe. And safety to your brain means familiarity, what you've already experienced, what you already know. Even if it's painful, it's predictable, and predictable feels safe. So when you try to grow, to change, to step into something better, your brain doesn't celebrate. It resists, not loudly, but subtly. You suddenly feel tired. You tell yourself, "I'll start tomorrow." You lose focus at the exact moment things get serious. You doubt yourself for no clear reason, and it feels like you're the problem. But you're not. You're just following a script you didn't write. Think about it. Every time you were judged, your brain learned to stay small. Every time you failed, your brain learned to avoid risk. Every time you were ignored, your brain learned to stay silent. And over time, these small moments became internal rules, invisible rules that now control your behavior. Rules like, don't take risks, don't stand out, don't fail again. And the dangerous part is, you don't even question them, you just follow them. And this is why self-sabotage feels normal, because it's familiar. It feels like you. It feels like your personality. But it's not your personality, it's your conditioning. And anything that is conditioned can be changed. But change doesn't start with action. It starts with awareness. Not the kind of awareness where you just understand the idea, but the kind where you catch yourself in the moment. When you're about to delay something important, you notice it. When you're about to make an excuse, you pause. When you feel that resistance, you don't run from it, you observe it. And at first, this feels uncomfortable because you are interrupting something automatic. Your brain wants to stay on autopilot. It wants to follow the same path it always has. But every time you interrupt that pattern, you create space. And in that space, you have control. A small window where you can choose to repeat the same behavior or to do something different. And this is where real change begins, not in big decisions, but in small interruptions. Because every time you choose differently, you weaken the old pattern. And every time you repeat that new choice, you strengthen a new one. This is how rewiring works. Slowly, quietly, but powerfully. Now here's something most people don't realize. Self-sabotage is not just fear of failure. It's also fear of success. Because success changes your identity. It changes how people see you. It forces you to step into something unfamiliar. And unfamiliar feels dangerous to your brain. So, what does your brain do? It slows you down. It creates doubt. It makes you hesitate at the exact moment you should act. Not because you're incapable, but because you're evolving. And evolution feels uncomfortable. But discomfort is not a sign to stop. It's a sign that you're stepping outside your old identity. And that's exactly where growth happens. Now here's the key shift. You don't need to force yourself to become disciplined. You need to make it easier to act. because your brain always chooses the path of least resistance. So if distraction is easy, you will get distracted. If avoidance is easy, you will avoid. But if action becomes easier, you will act. That's why your environment matters more than your motivation. If your phone is always in your hand, you will use it. If your workspace is messy, you will feel distracted. If your habits require too much effort to start, you won't start. So instead of relying on willpower, you design your environment. You remove friction from good actions, and you add friction to bad ones. You make the right choice the easy choice. And once something becomes easy, your brain stops resisting it. Now here's where identity comes in, because behavior follows identity, not the... If you believe you are someone who procrastinates, you will keep doing it. If you believe you are undisciplined, your actions will reflect that. But if you start seeing yourself differently, even slightly, your behavior begins to shift. Not instantly, but gradually. You don't wake up one day and become a new person. You become a new person through repeated actions, small proofs, small wins, moments where you act differently than before. And those moments add up. They create evidence, and evidence changes belief, and belief changes behavior, and behavior changes your life. This is the loop. And once you understand this loop, you stop relying on motivation. You stop waiting to feel ready, because you realize something important. You will never feel fully ready. Action creates readiness, not the other way around. So you start acting even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's small, even when it feels insignificant. Because you understand that every action is not just progress, it's programming. You are literally teaching your brain a new way to operate. And the more you repeat it, the stronger it becomes. Until one day, something shifts. You notice it. The resistance is still there, but weaker. The excuses are still there, but quieter. And your actions are stronger, more consistent, more intentional. And that's when you realize something powerful. You were never lazy. You were never broken. You were never incapable. You were just programmed to stay the same. And now you're breaking that program. And once you break it, everything changes. Because now, instead of working against yourself, you start working with yourself. And when your mind is on your side, there is nothing